The question should be answered yes or no, and just if...
Right, no, no, yes.
We must have... The question...
I'm at this point. No, yes, no.
We must...
Yes, no, no.
We must have... The question...
Yes, yes,
We
no.
must have made... The question should be answered yes or no.
Yes, no, yes.
We must have made... The question should be answered yes or no, and justified by...
No, yes, yes.
We must... The question should be answered yes or no.
Yes,
We
yes,
must...
yes. Hmm.
The question should be answered yes or no, and
So, I've tried all three options of this. So either I've got the bit of evidence that connects it wrong, or I've got one of these two at least wrong. So, a letter from an alcoholic. Okay, what does this say? Okay, that doesn't help. Threat to be Melvin. Yeah, so it's the V. It's the V. Try to avoid. So those match. So that's a yes. That's a. So it's got to be something else here. So yeah, I mean that's the only thing. I mean he's the only one who really mentions Richmond Abbey, so it's got to be him. I think that's got to be Appleby, and that's got to. Oh, I can't think of any logical. Appleby. We've got no idea what this is, and I don't want to go. Don't want to go to walk here because it keeps crashing my game. And I've got too many things just to randomly click. It has to be these three people, these three bits of evidence. These bits of evidence are the only thing that makes sense, right? That's the only thing that talks about prison wardens abroad. That's a yes. We can look at these and those connected. It's yes. He's the only one who talks about Richmond's Abbey, the only one who talked about the ruins. So he's got to be the evidence. Skilled weapons, he's the only one who talks about the death, and it's an interview because you can see it's blue. I couldn't put in, say... Can't put that in. It's got to be an interview, and this is the thing. He's not directly connected. I don't think we can say.
We must have made an error, Watson. Let's check our answers. The question should be answered yes or no.
Okay. Do I have to put in, is it the threat WC? I don't think it is. That's the A, isn't it? So,
We must have... The question should be answered yes or no, and justified by the evidence or testimony received. We must have made... The question should be answered yes or no, and justified by the evidence or testimony received. We must have made... The question
okay. I don't know if this is comparing the one with this, or both of these, because they're both similar. Then again, I'm not sure if this... Yeah, the W's different, so I'm getting... Melvin, you must pay. They both fit. It's just the independent W's here. So this is a curve, spike curve. Oh, this is a... Woo! Type W. The A fits here, though. Let's have a look. A. Yeah, so that A fits, but the V fits for this one. That's the case. Okay, so let's go through my random thing again. Okay, all three no's.
We must have... The question should be answered.
No,
We
yes.
must have. The question.
No, yes, no.
We must have. The question.
Yes, no, no.
We must have. The question.
Okay. Yes, yes,
We
no.
must have. The question should be answered yes or no, and
Yes, no, yes.
we must have. The.
No, yes, yes.
We must have. The question should be answered.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
We must have. The.
Okay, so we've gone through all of them. So it's not this. So let's try doing that. Yes, yes, yes.
It is simplicity itself, Watson. We have answered all the questions.
I tried that. And he's not. The top one isn't. Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Hello, Watson.
Good morning, Lestrade. You are an early riser.
Good morning, Lestrade. You look really tired. You must have had a lengthy meeting with the minister.
But hold on. How on earth could you know that, Holmes?
I
Psychic.
can read you like an open book.
Psychic.
I jest with you, gentlemen.
It's not the proper time for jesting, Holmes. But upon my word, how did you find out about the minister? I was assured that only 3 or 4 persons at most had knowledge of this meeting.
Oh, I would rather withhold my explanation.
So you must be aware of the subject of the meeting.
Indeed, but Dr. Watson knows nothing of these events.
Well, our incorruptible yet ever practical minister shared the thoughts of the Chancellor of the Exchequer with me. They've decided that it'd be most imprudent, given the crisis we're under, for a young lady barely 18 years of age to take control over one of the country's 3 biggest building enterprises.
I begin to understand, but
According to the minister, despite his bad habits due to the lack of consideration for his partner, Grimble is the only individual that the council has faith in to reverse the current state of the Bromsby holdings. It was further explained to me that if there is a choice to make in the direction of my investigation, and lacking any new evidence to the contrary, I must take these concerns into account.
You're not that corrupt, Lestrade.
this is outrageous.
And
Yeah,
you,
Watson.
Lestrade, what are your personal thoughts on the matter?
I really can't say, Holmes. The prospect offered by Grimble seems so attractive. He had credible motive to murder Bromsby and then foul it. In addition, he was the only individual with apparent access to the shed at the cement factory where we discovered the corpse of his presumed accomplice. However, the only gadfly to this theory is his statement to Dr. Watson when he clearly renounced all rights of succession.
That is an item of singular curiosity.
Indeed.
It is difficult for me to believe that a man who could plan and execute 2 or 3 murders with such cool presence of mind would give up an opportunity of this magnitude so easily.
Yes.
I also have spent sufficient time at Sherringford Hall to have a high opinion of Lieutenant Harrington.
Lieutenant.
I agree with you. This young man, by all accounts, has an unimpeachable character.
I have no evidence to cast doubt on the truthfulness of his testimony. We reconstructed the crime, and it was evident from where he stood he could easily see Miss Bromsby despite the crowd. Really, Holmes, I'm not a man who would hand over an innocent girl to the executioner, even should it cost me my career.
Good man.
I am pleased to hear you say this, Lestrade. By the way, Lestrade, have you any knowledge of the place known as Aston's Theatre?
Is it that shabby theatre that lies near the bank of the Thames?
Yes, several weeks ago it was acquired by the Fairfax Theatre Company. Their international tour appears to have been most successful as they are set to open their new play in a week. Dwight Richards happens to be their director.
The one
You
who
mean
threatened.
the author of the threatening letter that we found on Bromsby's desk?
I think it
I
was in
must
the
admit,
safe,
I
wasn't
thought
it?
the letter to be of small consequence. After all, it involved a matter from so long ago.
Sometimes old wounds are the most painful. In fact, we are leaving for Aston's right now. I know that you're quite busy, but if you feel like joining us, meet us at noon.
There's a... Okay, what is on here? Might be helpful. Might not be, but you never know.
This might be interesting.
After its triumphant tour on 3 continents, Fairfax Theatre Company is pleased to present the exclusive world premiere of Vagrancy and Profligacy by S. Prescott, with Carolyn Small and Raleigh Wilcox, staged by the author, company director Dwight Richards. There we go, let's have a chat with him.
Aston's Theatre. Here we are.
Let's chat with whoever this is.
We are not open to the public yet, gentlemen. Oh, bless my soul. I can hardly believe my eyes. It is the young Sherlock Holmes, isn't it?
Watson, allow me to present Philotomy Kirby, who in his day was one of the last great hopes of the popular stage. He also took great pains to advance my comprehension of the many subtleties of the theatrical arts.
So he can still prattle away. Don't listen to him. This is the most talented student I've ever met, upon my word, as an actor. But those days are past. So, am I speaking to the former actor or the world-renowned detective today?
Well, both, considering, he uses them in his disguise. He had that wonderful accent when he was dressed up as a working-class bloke. Eden, yeah.
Tell me, what you know about the Fairfax Theatre Troupe?
2 months ago, they returned from an international tour. Richards, their director, had managed to secure the necessary funds to buy back Aston's. It seems he had finally resolved his troubles.
So they got out of trouble?
He was in some kind of trouble.
It's always the same with those tours abroad. Your star actress marries an emir. Another time, the entire troupe has their luggage stolen.
Oh dear.
Anything is possible, and whatever occurs is usually nothing good. But who would have imagined such a tragedy?
Tragedy?
What tragedy?
Their last tour started about 3 years ago. At that time, the troupe was housed at the Fairfax Theatre. But a series of failures forced the owners to sell it at a substantial loss. The owners were 3 individuals: Dwight Richards, their current director, Miss Davenport, their star actress and the mistress of Richards,
Ooh la la.
and lastly, a young actor, costumier, makeup man called Jeffries. They decided, after the sale, to launch an international tour in order to raise funds.
Wouldn't that be
Their
more
success was
expensive?
assured?
Yes, the fame of English theatre is worldwide. During their travels, Jeffries and Miss Davenport developed a close relationship, which was much to the regret of the hot-headed Richards. He is a gypsy by birth. No one can be more possessive and quick-tempered than a gypsy.
Pray continue.
In short, a dark tragedy occurred in a village in Latin America, located not far from the Amazon. One evening, after their performance,
There's our cigarettes.
someone noticed that Miss Davenport and Jeffries had gone missing. The local authorities were notified, and the alarm was raised.
So what happened to Richards?
And Richards?
Richards was implicated in some manner, it seems to me. However, there was no proof of his involvement, and no bodies were ever found.
What a strange case.
If you need more details, you should ask the actors. As you may observe, they are rarely able to hold their tongues.
All right. Well,
I
thank
will
you.
see you later, Kirby.
Yes, it was good seeing you again.
Right. Well, I'll go down this way, so we'll go round. Well, he's kind of in the way, isn't he? Speak to this person, whoever he be.
Hello, young man. What are you looking at?
Oh, I'm sorry. You startled me. I'm looking at her. Are you from the press? Of course you are. You must be here to interview her. Oh, the play is wonderful, and Miss Caroline will surely shine. If only my father could have seen this day.
Your father?
Your father?
Yes, I am Bruce Aston, and my father was Clyde Aston, the former owner of the theatre. It may have fallen into some disrepair, but During its time, it was well loved by so many. A host of young actors debuted on that venerated stage. Why, it was at this very spot where Mr. Richards first met Miss Davenport.
So what are you doing here?
Are you a part of the troupe?
Yes, when Mr. Richards noticed how I had worked to keep the place up, he hired me. I helped Mr. Kirby a little, and also Mr. Trumpet backstage.
Kirby? The plot thickens because there was Mr. Kirby working with Mr. Cox. Fairfax Theatre.
Have you ever heard of the Fairfax Theatre?
It is the theatre which was demolished. It seems to me that it had been owned by Mr. Richards together with Miss Davenport and a friend of theirs. They left on an extended tour, but I think it went badly for them. After his return, Mr. Richards bought the theatre back from the bank, and I do hope his good fortune will continue.
Well, we can hope.